Hey, welcome! Today we are going to dive into something that, let's be honest, most of us kind of dread, setting financial goals. But what if we could take them from this boring chore on your to-do list and turn them into an actual, exciting roadmap for the life you really want to live? Let's get into it. Have you ever wondered why those big money resolutions we all make just seem to fizzle out by February? We start out strong, I'm going to save more this year, or I'm finally paying off that debt. But these goals are usually so vague and uninspiring, they feel more like a punishment than a plan. They're just missing that spark, that thing that makes you actually want to see them through. And right here, this is the whole secret. Look at the difference. I should save money. Ugh, that's a chore, right? But I'm funding a 2-week trip to Italy? Now that is an adventure. You can almost taste the pasta. It's something real, something you can get excited about. The trick is to stop framing your goals as a restriction and start seeing them as the reward they really are. Which leads us perfectly into our first big idea. You have to start with your why. This is everything. It's the foundation. Without a really powerful personal reason driving you, any plan you make is probably going to fall apart. So you have to ask yourself, what's your Italy? This is where specificity becomes your superpower. I want to save is pretty much meaningless. But look at this. I want to save for a down payment on a $350,000 house in Austin. Suddenly, that's real. You can picture the house, right? You can imagine the neighborhood, what your life would be like there. That picture is what you're working for, not just some number sitting in a bank account. And here's the bottom line. Your why is your emotional fuel. It's that little voice that reminds you about that house in Austin or that amazing trip to Italy when you're about to mindlessly click buy now on Amazon. It's that emotional connection that builds real, lasting discipline, way more than just willpower ever could. Okay, so once you've locked in that powerful why, it's time to build a smarter plan to actually get there. A dream without a plan is just a wish. This is where we get down to business and turn all that emotional energy into concrete, actionable steps. And honestly, the best tool for this job is the SMART Goals framework. I know, it's a classic, but it's a classic for a reason. It forces you to get super clear on what you're doing. It makes your goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to your big why, and time-bound, which gives it a deadline. It's basically the blueprint for making your dreams happen. And you can see how this all comes together in one super powerful sentence. This isn't just, oh, I'll save for emergencies. No way. It's specific, $6,000. It's measurable, $500 a month. It's achievable. It's relevant to your financial security. And it's time-bound, 12 months. You know exactly what you need to do every single month to win. But it's not just about one goal, right? It's really important to layer your goals across different timelines. You can't only focus on retirement that's 30 years away. You'll burn out. You need those short-term wins to keep you motivated, those medium-term goals that feel just around the corner, and of course, that big, long-term vision. This whole approach creates a balance between living your life now and securing your future. And for those huge, totally intimidating goals, like paying off $50,000 in student loans, you've got to break them down. Think of it like you're leveling up in a video game. Every $5,000 you pay off, boom, new level unlocked. This creates so much momentum and gives you these little checkpoints to celebrate, making a marathon feel more like a series of fun sprints. All right, so you've got your why, you've got your SMART plan, now let's make it easy and maybe even fun? Section 3 is all about taking the willpower out of the equation and making this whole process enjoyable and automatic. The key here is to really engage your brain. First, automate everything. Set up those automatic transfers so the money moves without you even thinking about it. But then, make it visual. Create what's basically a financial Pinterest board. Put up pictures of that trip to Italy, that dream car, whatever it is. Seeing that every single day is such a powerful reminder of what you're working so hard for. Here's another fantastic strategy. Pair your goals. Look, if all you're saving for are these serious adult things like retirement and insurance, it's just so easy to get discouraged. So, for every serious goal, pair it with a fun one. While you're socking away money for that emergency fund, also save up for those concert tickets. It builds joy right into your financial plan. And that absolutely includes rewarding yourself. Hitting a milestone is a huge deal. Let's say you save your first $2,000. You should celebrate that, but do it smartly. A celebratory $100 dinner isn't going to derail your progress. In fact, it reinforces the positive habit and gets you excited to hit that next milestone. And lastly, please do not try to do this all alone. Tell a trusted friend about your goal, find a money buddy. There was this awesome example of a couple in Chicago who used TikTok to track their no-spend days while they were saving for their wedding. That kind of public accountability creates this positive pressure that makes you so much more likely to stick to the plan. Okay, this brings us to our final and, maybe the most important section of all, staying flexible while you stay focused. Because life is completely unpredictable, and a good financial plan has to be able to roll with the punches. A new job, a surprise move, inflation going crazy, things happen. And when your budget gets squeezed, the absolute worst thing you can do is just give up on your goals entirely. The smart move is to adjust. Maybe you have to drop your monthly savings from $500 down to $300 for a little while. That's okay. The point is to keep the momentum going, even if it's at a slower pace. And this quote just says it all. You gotta think of yourself as a pilot. You don't just abandon the flight because you hit some turbulence. You course correct. Adjusting your plan isn't a sign that you failed. It's a sign that you have a strong, resilient strategy that's built for the real world. So, as we wrap this up, just remember this. Your dream life, that trip, that house, that feeling of freedom, it really is just a financial goal away. The only thing standing between where you are now and that reality is a clear, exciting, and actionable plan. So the real question is, what's the very first tiny step you're going to take to build it, starting today?
All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about a problem that, let's be honest, almost everyone has, and that's setting financial goals that you can actually get excited about, that you stick with, and that lead to real, tangible results in your life.
So first up, let's figure out why so many of our financial goals just fail. We all start with these amazing intentions, maybe on January 1st or just some random Tuesday where we feel super motivated, but then they just kind of vanish.
So really, why does this keep happening? Why do those big plans to save more or finally get out of debt just seem to fizzle out after a couple of weeks? It's a super common frustration, but the reason behind it? It's usually surprisingly simple. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got this weak goal. I want to save money. I mean, it sounds nice, right? But it has absolutely no teeth. Now look at the right side. That has power. I want to save $15,000 in 18 months for a house down payment. See? That's not just a wish, it's a mission. It's a specific target with a deadline. And this brings us to the real secret sauce, the first big part of the solution. If you want your goals to stick, you have to start with your why. Seriously, forget the spreadsheets and the budgets for just a minute. This is about connecting your money to a real, powerful dream. Here's the thing you have to understand about your brain. It's basically wired for right now rewards. So to fight that powerful impulse to order DoorDash again or grab that random thing at Target you don't really need, you need an even more powerful emotional reason to say no. A vague goal like save more just can't compete.
And this is what a real why looks like. See, it's not a number, it's a feeling. It's that feeling of security you'll get buying your first home, or the incredible freedom of finally paying off student loans. It's the pure joy of taking your kids to Disney, or even leasing that Tesla you've been eyeing. Or maybe it's something bigger, like joining the FIRE movement. That's financial independence, retire early. The key is to find your dream. Okay, so once you have that powerful why lighting a fire under you, it's time to get practical. Now we're going to take that big dream and turn it into a concrete step-by-step roadmap. And the absolute gold standard for doing this is the SMART formula. Your goal has to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, meaning it connects to your big why, and time-bound. This simple framework is what turns a fuzzy dream into a clear, actionable project. And here's what that looks like in action. This isn't just, I'll save for emergencies. No way. It's specific, $400 from each paycheck. It's measurable, a $10,000 total. It's achievable, assuming you've budgeted for it. It's relevant, because it buys you security, and it's time-bound by next December. This is a goal you can actually do. Huge goals can be totally overwhelming. I mean, build $1 million for retirement just feels impossible, right? But the trick is breaking it down. You categorize your goals into different time frames to make them feel manageable. Just focus on paying off that $2,000 credit card first. The momentum you get from that short-term win, that's the fuel for the bigger goals down the road. Okay, so now you've got your why, you've got your SMART plan, but how do you stay on track when, life happens? Well, you have to build a system of support and motivation around you. This is how you stick with it for the long haul.
The absolute key here is to make success the easy default option. So step 1, automate your savings, set up those transfers for the day you get paid so you don't even have a chance to spend it. Step 2, Use an app to track everything. Seeing that progress bar move is incredibly motivating. And step 3, and don't sleep on this one, visualize it. Put a picture of your dream home on the fridge. Print out a debt tracker you can literally color in. Make the goal real.
This is a brilliant strategy for any massive goal, especially debt. Instead of feeling crushed by a $50,000 mountain of student loans, you just focus on the first mini milestone. Get fired up about knocking out that first $5,000. Then, and this is important, celebrate that win. Then you move on to the next one. It's the exact same logic as training for a marathon, isn't it? No runner just stares at the finish line 26.2 miles away from the start. That would be insane. You focus on running this mile right now, then the next one. Hitting those small, consistent milestones is how you end up doing something truly extraordinary.
And listen, this next part of your support system is so crucial for avoiding burnout. You have to have balance. If every single spare dollar is going towards serious long-term goals, you're going to crash and burn. It is absolutely okay. In fact, it's really smart to max out your Roth IRA, which is a retirement account, and save up for those Coachella tickets or that vacation you've been dreaming of.
Think about it this way. A financial plan that's all about deprivation is just doomed to fail. It's exactly like a super strict diet with zero flexibility. Building in smart rewards and fun goals, your financial cheat meals, is what makes the whole thing sustainable for the long run. And finally, please do not try to do this alone. Find a trusted friend you can share your goals with, someone who will check in. Find your people online. There are huge communities on Reddit and TikTok dedicated to these exact goals. It's amazing how powerful a little positive peer pressure can be when you know other people are on the exact same journey.
Look, life is going to happen. It's a guarantee. Your car will break down, your rent will go up. The key is not to abandon your goal, but to adjust it. Think of your plan like a GPS. If you hit a roadblock, you don't just turn off the car and give up, right? Of course not. The GPS just reroutes you. So maybe you lower your savings from $400 a month to $200 for a little while. That's fine. The journey continues.
So let's bring all this home. When you combined all these elements, the why, the smart plan, the support systems, you fundamentally change your relationship with money. It stops being this constant source of stress, and instead, it becomes the fuel for the life you actually want to live.
So when you boil it all down, the goals that actually work, the ones that stick, they have these 4 key ingredients. They have to be deeply personal, tied to your why. They need to be practical, built on that SMART framework. They have to be exciting, with fun stuff and rewards built in. And they've got to be flexible enough to handle real life.
And that leaves us with one final, really powerful question to think about. At the end of the day, it's not about how much money you can save. It's about what you're going to do with it. So what is the dream life that your money is going to fuel?